Hello and welcome to Anglesey here in northwest Wales, usually a place associated with peace, tranquility and arable farming. Alright guys, however once a year this happens. A busy day here at Anglesey with two races. Let's hear the thoughts then of some of our drivers ahead of the first race of the day.
What would you consider to be the key parts of the track?
The key part of the track is when you're coming down the corkscrew is to look out at the sea and the mountains and take in the wonderful view. Yeah, I mean, you've got to carry your speed all the way up to Rocket. You've got to get a good drive out the corner. So through Church and all the way up, yeah, obviously. But I find that's the easier part. It's the top section where it's all tight and twisty. I think that's where you can make up a lot of time if you're clever up there.
Talk to us a little bit, first of all, about your racing history, because you're an experienced racer, aren't you?
Yeah, we've done Formula 1000 in 2013, 2014. Managed to win it in 2014, which was good. And we moved on to Radical Challenge the last 2 years, become runner-up twice. This year, we're basically just trying something a little bit different, trying the Fun Cup Series. Obviously never driven a Tim Top car before, so yesterday was my first time in the car. We were qualified, I think, 5th this morning, so we know we've got good pace. We just need to try and be consistent from 7th on the grid and see where we can end up.
Time now then for our first race of the day as we hand over to our commentator, Chris Hartley.
Round 2 of the championship is a double points race. It sees Team Brit on pole position with Team Lane Roofing alongside, Team 7 Fun Bikes 3 and JPR GT Radial on row 2. And to complete the top 6, it's JPR Motorsport and Agua Caliente. The winners of the first round, Mac Racing, have to start dead last, 28th on the grid. As the rolling start gets underway on pole position then, Ash Hall leads them away for Team Brit, but Chris Weatherall alongside him as they went their way through turn 1. Rory Brown for Team 7 Fun Bikes just about fending off Ellis Hadley in the battle for second place. Into the first braking zone, a lock-up for the new race leader Chris Weatherall, and a challenge for second here. Up ahead, that's Rory Brown sliding ahead of Ash Hall in the Team Brit car. Then you've got Ellis Hadley queued up behind. The black JPR Motorsport rental car of Michael Dubois in 5th place. Having a look at the inside then on the way into Church Corner for the first time in the race is Ellis Hadley to try and get 3rd place away. You can see the top 2 making good their escape as they climb uphill now into the best overtaking spot on the circuit. It's hard on the brakes into Rocket, and Ellis Hadley with a terrific move there around the outside. Can he slow the car down in time? Just about. He almost went on the grass there. It was the last of the late breakers, but a terrific move around the outside to go 3rd. And Michael Dubois has followed him through luck into 4th place, and already Rory Brown having a nibble up the inside here of Chris Weatherall for the lead of the race. The top 2 absolutely nose to tail, and around about a 2.5 seconds clear of that squabble for 3rd place. Weatherall leads down through the corkscrew for the first time in the race. He was meant to retire at the end of last year, and he came straight back, and now here he is leading what is a huge field, 28 cars on board then with the number 221 car of DispatchBay.com from 25th on the grid. Paul Turner making up some positions early on. This is a quick car and a championship challenging car. And Paul Turner, one of several quick drivers that have drawn grid positions right at the back of the grid. So watch for them thundering through here. And there we see the number 41 Team Lane Roofing car of Phil Marshall returning to the championship. Under fire though from Christian Rose in the black 99 JPR car. And coming after the pair of them is Nigel Greensall in the CCS Media car. On board with him now with a rear-facing camera, and Nigel goes through. He was 2nd quickest in qualifying this morning, just 0.005 of a second slower than Marcus Clutton. As we get a challenge for the lead of the race up the hill for the 2nd time on the brakes. Rory Brown does it, locking over front left there is the former race leader Chris Weatherall. He has to concede the position. On board with Chris Bridle in 9th position. Looking at the inside of the reigning champions there and making a little bit of contact with Fabio Randaccio as they came out through the right-hander and head towards Peel, but no damage done. There's the squabble that is developing for 4th place. There's a long queue of about 10 cars in this battle as they come downhill now. This fabulous piece of circuit here, down, roller coastering all the way through the corkscrew, back down to ground level as they accelerate through the final turn and back onto the start-finish straight. You can see them all running wide, using the curbs, and then some using a bit more than their fair share of curbs. That's the JPR Christian Rose car running out wide and just about getting back on track in front of the CCS Media car. It was another of the JPR Motorsport rental cars, Michael Dubois, and the black 103 machine, trying to find a way past Dave Clark. Right behind him, number 92, Gareth Jones for MCAC Racing, who's made a good start up from 9th on the grid. There, though, Rory Brown, the race leader, starting to get away, and there's a huge shunt here on the way out of the banking. 3-4 cars involved, and DispatchBay.com, Paul Turner is one of them. So too the pole sitter Ash Hall in the 158 car, and I'm afraid 214 Alex McLeod in Raw Motorsports with damage as well. As we go back to the front of the field with Ellis Hadley having a sniff for second place there, but the safety car is going to be deployed for the first time in this 3-hour race, and that was a heavy impact. Ash Hall, one of the injured ex-servicemen that drives for Team Brit, goes around to the back of the car to inspect it. He's out and looks okay, so too Alex McLeod. Here is the replay on board then with Paul Turner coming out of the banking. Oh, he had absolutely no time to react, nowhere to go. I think it was the other Team Brit car, the 312 car of Jamie Farley, that had a problem. It suddenly slowed, others tried to avoid him, some succeeded. There was a huge lock-up, a screech of tyres and a cloud of smoke, and Paul Turner just straight into the back of the Team Brit car of Ash Hall, who was also delayed in all of that. Paul is okay, but has been taken for medical checkups. And there you can see the remnants of the DispatchBay.com car. The sorry sight for him, a shame for Raw Motorsports as well, because it's fantastic new livery to the car this weekend. And for Team Brit, all of them out after just 2 laps of racing. Right, we're back underway, and leading the field then, it's Rory Brown. Already a spin though, that's Colin Kingsnorth for Truman's. That is down at the banking. Was he alone, or was there somebody else involved in that? And look at Dave Clark slip-sliding his way up the inside, trying to outbrake everybody, but almost running into the side of 2 or 3 other cars, but he just about got it controlled in time. Ellis Hadley losing a position here too. Gareth Jones, who's going great guns for MCAC Racing. That puts him up to 3rd place now. Look, in the 92 car, Hadley in 4th position, and there Dave Clark, the former kart racer, in 5th place. Just ahead of Rob Croydon in the Team Kennedy car, and that's Christian Rose for JPR Motorsport, crabbing his way up the straight, damage to the front right corner. What happened? We're about to find out. I think Nigel Greensaw looking back from him. Everybody slams on the brakes, and the incident was just ahead. There you saw the Team Truman's car, which we saw recovering, and Christian Rose coming together. And meanwhile, back in the pits, James has caught up with DispatchBay.com's Andy Bicknell.
Firstly, Andy, just talked about Paul's condition, because he obviously left in an ambulance, didn't he? What's going on there?
He's had a good shunt. He's got a history of a back injury from his rugby days, I think, and he thinks he's damaged that again, sort of perforated discs and things. But he if you've seen the onboard footage, he's a huge impact. So we felt it was wise. He went and had a little look at him in hospital. So hopefully he'll be okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be fine.
It's been an expensive weekend in terms of equipment, but also in terms of the championship, because of course double points in this race. Hugely,
yeah. Obviously with the lineup we've got this year, we were hoping to be at the pointy end. I think we would have been, but hey, we lose 2 rounds.
Well, a serious accident, but Paul receiving the best of treatment, and the car doing its job in that it absorbed the impact. And Paul hopefully will be okay. All the other drivers seem to be fine. As we see now, Fabio Randaccio in the number 1 JPR Uvio car from 11th on the grid, whipping around the outside of Ellis Hadley to move himself now up into 4th place. So, having been on the podium in the opening round of the season, the reigning champions, Fabio Randaccio, new driver to the team this year, going great guns. Ellis Hadley has got to watch his mirrors though, because here comes Dave Clark. Very racy here at the start of his 2nd season in Fun Cup. Had a good round here at Anglesey last year, the team, and they're going really well here. So that's up another place for Dave, having a 5th position. There though, getting away from everybody is the experienced Fun Cup racer Rory Brown, who races alongside his dad Alan, and Rod Barrett also in the team. Very experienced trio, and suddenly slowing luck is Fabio Randaccio. So Dave Clark has whipped past, having a 4th place. Ellis Hadley with the onboard goes up through to 5th. Stopping out on the track is Phil Marsh, oh no, for Lane Roofing, so that's a bad start for him as well. And there, look, it's a very slow-looking JPR Uvio car. That, I fear, is headed for the pits. The pit window is open, so that might help them out. In comes Ellis Hadley then to make the changeover. And look at this for a slick stop. One driver out, the next driver in. That's Michael Oliver taking the place of his teammate. And here comes the JPR Uvio car, but very slowly. The Team Viking car also makes its mandatory pit stop. First of 5 pit stop windows in this 3-hour race, as Nigel Greensaw goes for a move up the inside here of Rob Croydon. And that now puts him up to 7th place from 17th on the grid. Meanwhile, back in the pits, James has caught up with Ellis Hadley from GT Radio.
Within the first 40 minutes of the
Talk to us about the start of your race, because it was very eventful, wasn't it?
Yeah, first couple of laps was really nice, really good, got into the swing of things, and then a bit of carnage, safety car, and then that was basically it for my stint. So maybe 20 minutes behind the safety car, and then maybe 5-minute dash at the end, which was quite nice. Got the tyres warm again for the lad getting in next. So, but yeah, thoroughly enjoyable.
Quick pit stops are critical in Fun Cup, and as we go into the second stint, Team Honeywell have done it again. This is for second place, and it's Neil Plever at the inside of Alan Brown for the Team Fun Bikes 3 car. In with more dramas, I'm afraid, after getting going again is the Lane Roofing car, so they're tumbling down the order, losing a number of laps. But Honeywell started the race 23rd, they were 13th before the pit stops, and they've now made their way up into second place. MCAC Racing lead, but is it me or is that car going slowly? It's going slowly, and Matt Jones loses the lead of the race. So Team Honeywell go from third to first in the space of a few seconds, and the MCAC car looks like it's going to limp back to the pits. A real shame after a terrific first stint and opening pit stop, and also out of contention, I'm afraid, a JPR Uvio. The engine has gone.
Fabio, your race is over. What are your thoughts? Anything else to add to that?
Even in times of crisis, they're still game for a laugh down at JPR Uvio. Very rare mechanical failure for that team, as we see Marcus Clutton in the silver 251 Sherrodice UK car moving up to third place now from 24th on the grid. Also coming up in towards the top 6 is the Track Focus team, and these two squabbling at the tail end of the top 10 is the 195 car of the very rapid Jay Shepherd moving ahead of Team Viking. Up ahead, Mac Racing, winners of round 1. They lost time in the pits with damage after that big crash at the start of the race, and another championship contender, second place from race 1, 2 Rent Dominoes, also suffered as a result of that crash. So they've both lost a lot of time, particularly Mac Racing, who lost a few laps in the race, as we see the 212 car of Greg Evans for FNS up into the top 10 now. The sister car, also run by Track Talk Racing, is 2 Rent Dominoes. That's Henry Dawes behind the wheel now. But they got damage to the back of the car, and it's a lap down after being involved in that big shunt early on, and also off the road in strife. That is the Team Lane Roofing car, which led early on. It's a double points race, and there's been lots of drama so far, and it is still neck and neck for the lead of the race. Team Honeywell, driven at the moment by Tim Wilden, being chased down by Sherrodice UK. Just about a second between them. 10 seconds back in third place, and double stinting, that is Jay Shepherd for Team 7 Fun Bikes. One is teammate John King, due to get in next. Then running nose to tail for 4th and 5th, it's CCS Media versus Team Viking. The yellow car driven by Mark Home, trying to hunt down Bob Tomlinson on the way into Rocket. There's Zoe Wenham for Apollo Motorsport from 20th on the grid. They are now up to 6th place to finish 4th in the opening round at Alton Park. In with technical woes, I'm afraid, though. That is the Team Kennedy TFL car of Rob Croydon and Jack Lang. A real shame after they went well at the start of the race. Leading the race early on was Rory Brown in this car, Team 7 Fun Bikes 3, but that stopped out on the exit to Rocket, so yellow flags waving there. Well, we're heading towards the final round of pit stops. There is Neil Plimmer, pacing up and down nervously, still running in the top 10. That's the 97 car. Martin Gibson about to get in for the JPGT Radial team. There's Guy Wenham, who is hoping to step into a car which could finish on the podium, because Apollo have a chance of a top 3 finish here. In then for the final time come Team Honeywell from the lead battle with Sherrodice UK. Sherrodice have already made their pit stop, and they've got the very, very rapid Marcus Clutton in. There he is, making his way down into the corkscrew here. So this is going to be pretty tight. Team Honeywell are not refueling, though. They get Tim Wilden out of the car. They get Neil Plymouth strapped in. They get away with no problems. And I think he's just about going to make it through as the race leader. Yes, he is. They're going now just onto the start-finish straight is the Sherrodice UK car. So Team Honeywell lead going into the final phase of the race. A job well done by Tim Wilden. Now he just needs his very experienced teammate Neil Plymouth to bring it home. Apollo come in then. They've got a real chance of a podium finish here. They've been hovering between 3rd and 6th for the last hour or so. Zoe Wenham gets out of the car. Guy Wenham, a very rapid driver as well, getting in. Oh dear, PT Motorsport, Ian Payne and Paul Vokes off with problems at the side of the road. That could bring out a safety car, and we've got problems here in the pit stop for Apollo Motorsport. This is a serious delay that could cost them a chance of third place here, and valuable seconds lost. Away goes Guy now, but that might just scupper their plans. But that car is moving nowhere, and so the safety car is going to bunch everyone up. If they're not nervous at Team Honeywell right now, there's something wrong with them, because the race has just got restarted. There are only a few laps to go, and look how close Sherrod's UK are. Marcus Clutton, there's 3 back markers in between them. There is the silver car in second place, trying to catch the red Honeywell machine, and up into third place now of their first UK podium at Team Viking. Nick Nunn and Mark Home also firing up nicely in fourth place. That is the track focused squad, and now quicker at the moment than third place. Apollo falling back after that problem in the pit stop window. So on the brakes, coming up to the Mack Racing car, which won round 1 but is 4 laps down in this one after accident damage at the start of the race. It is a rapid car though, and that might be helpful for Team Honeywell, because look, Sherrod still hasn't found a way past this traffic, and there are 3 very quick cars in front, including the CCS Media car, which is a lap down, but 6th. They're in 5th place, 220 Apollo Motorsport. And there then is this battle for third place. It's getting closer and closer now as they head towards the final lap of this 3-hour race. The yellow machine is driven by Nick Nunn. That's Team Viking. Can he hang on for his first podium finish in the UK? He's got the very quick Sean Cooper chasing him down. Back out late on with their new engine is the number 1 JPR Uvio team. So they're using this as a test ready for this evening's second race. Team Honeywell still have a couple of back markers, if you can call them that, because they're, as I say, quick drivers in between them and Sherrod's, but Sherrod's closing up all the time, and it's even closer. Look in the battle for third place, coming up towards Rocket for the final time in the race. Look in the mirrors, Nick. Look left, look right, defend as much as you can, because Sean Cooper's coming. He has a look at the inside, but no, Nick brave on the brakes, fends him off. Terrific stuff. Here come the leaders. It's very close now. Sherrod has just got the 1 back marker in between them, but it's a CCS Media car, and there should be a home dry run there for Team Honeywell. I've waited absolutely ages for this. They've had so much bad luck over the last couple of years, and Neil Plymouth will not let this one go. He's shadowed by the CCS car as he comes out of the final turn, and Team Honeywell are winners once again in the Fun Cup. They win here at Anglesey. Sherrod just behind in second place. What about third? It's a maiden podium for Team Viking. Fantastic stuff.
Talk to us about the closing stages of that race, because you had a safety car with just a few minutes to go. What was going through your mind?
The hardest thing was trying to figure out how many laps we got to go to the end, because obviously the race is timed, not on number of laps, so we were trying to figure out, and I think we worked out if the safety car had stayed out an extra 8 seconds, we'd have had 1 less lap. So yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking.
And obviously Honeywell's first victory now for, I believe, 4 years. It must be a great feeling, not just amongst you guys, but amongst the whole team as well.
Absolutely, and you know, credit to JPR and Paul, and especially George, who's come on board this year as our race engineer, and he's built that car from the chassis up over the winter, and I'm delighted to give him his first win in the JPR garage. But it's like getting that first win again at the moment.
3 hours later, and the teams were about to go back on track for the evening race, another 3-hour encounter. This time the random grid draw saw championship hopefuls 2 Rent Dominoes and Apollo Motorsport sharing the front row, while race 1 winners Honeywell would have to start at the back. Following an 11th place finish in race 1, Chris Hart was determined to get to the first corner at the head of the pack, and he duly held off Guy Wenham in the Apollo machine, with Chris Weatherall 3rd for Team Lane Roofing and Colin Kingsnorth 4th in the purple Team Truman's car. It was 3 abreast for 5th, with Nigel Greensall squeezing down the inside at the banking for the first time, with Farkini following close behind in the black Uvio car. Leading onto the back straight, last year's championship runners-up, 2 Rent Dominoes, who took a double race win here at the end of last season. A slight gap back, and then it was Lane Roofing still 3rd, Truman's 4th, CCS 5th, and Uvio now 6th. The next group led by the red and white FNS car of Steve Walton, 7th in race 1. Ahead, a massive lockup from Weatherall in 3rd, and then some contact between Team Brit and Viking. Having run as high as 3rd in race 1, Jay Shepherd and John King were hoping to better their 10th place from the day's opener. By lap 3, the blue and maroon CCS Media car was up to 2nd, and with the flying Nigel Greensall about to pick up a tow, Chris Hart's lead was looking a bit dubious. 2 drivers fighting hard, but giving each other respect and just about enough room. Having briefly led race 1, MCAC Racing were back up and running, Gareth Jones charging from 15th to 6th. behind a spinning Sherrodice car instigated an unwanted rallycross experience for the Greenswell Motorsport car of Dom Jackson, the Honeywell car of Tim Wilden and the GT Radial car of Michael Oliver. A wild ride, but they all got it back on track. A disappointing weekend for PT Motorsport continued as they pitted early with steam coming from the back of the car. But that was a much better start to this one for Mack Racing. Stuart Hall quickly up into the top 5 and 21st on the grid. Sadly though, it seemed that Honeywell's unlucky streak had already returned as the race 1 winners slowed just 25 minutes into the race. This was to bring about the one and only safety car of the race. A headache for some, but an opportunity for others. Shortly after the restart, 3 of the lead group all pitted together. With mandatory pit stops every 30 minutes, the teams would have a huge part to play in the outcome of this race. Undoubtedly one of the stars of the opening stint had been Gareth Jones for MCAC Racing.
Very enjoyable stint. Yeah, tough competitors out there. Everybody's racing pretty hard and desperate to get on the podium. Still haven't managed to tick that box in the old CV, so what will be, will be.
Following the first round of pit stops, JPR Uvio emerged in the lead, but with Fabio Randaccio's every move being shadowed by Henry Dawes in the 2 Red Dominoes car. The 2 teams that pushed each other so hard for the title in 2017 were joined at the hip once more. Despite the grassy moment in the opening stint, Sherrodice UK were still in the game, thanks to that safety car, and Marcus Clutton was making the most of it. This move on newcomer Ryan Burke in the Apollo car, putting him up to 4th. Sadly, an extra visit to the pits had put the 41-lane roofing car a lap down, and one of the cars they'd been battling with was also in trouble as the Team 7 Fun Bikes 1 machine of John King spluttered its way back to the pits. As the sun set, Anglesey afforded some magnificent views, but paying no attention to any of that were Pete Belshaw and Marcus Clutton, as they were now leading the race comfortably heading into the final stint. 7th place to add to their earlier podium, and that this was about to become the best day ever for Team Viking. Likewise, a very decent effort by FNS, following up their 7th in race 1 with 8th place here. While others like Honeywell and Mack Racing, again blighted by damage, had hit race 2 problems. Christian Rose and Phil Martindale enjoyed a more trouble-free run to 9th place. And the uber-consistent Bridal twins with Chris Dovell were again top 10 material for Fun Bikes 2. Not such a happy race though for GT Radial, as they were stranded in the pits for much of the race. While on track, there was still time for a hair-raising moment at the top of the hill as the Team Lane roofing car stopped to admire the view. No podiums for Apollo yet, but another 4th place finish was about to put them into the championship lead. JPR Uvio and 2 Red Dominoes had been locking horns for most of the 3-hour race, but heading onto the final lap it was Uvio with the upper hand and a much needed 2nd place. 2 Red Dominoes no doubt rueing the fact that the one time they haven't been on the podium this season was for that earlier double points race. Meanwhile, a dominant race victory for Sherrodice UK to put them up to 2nd in the standings and giving us our 3rd different winner from the first 3 races of the season. Somehow, this championship keeps on getting closer.
The turnaround was the only safety car. That really transformed it for us. We managed to get the car into the lead. And the gap just increased, and then by the end of the race I think it was 35 seconds and we just managed that.
A couple of beers tonight, celebrate?
Yeah, I think more than a couple, yeah. Thank you.
So a good weekend then for Sherrodice UK, a 2nd place followed up by a 1st place. Also a good win for Honeywell in the first race of the day. We're off to Snetterton next time. We'll see you again.